Pierre Morgan and the Crown are back here, folks, on Rich Reviews. Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Reviews, and I just spent the past Saturday and a little bit of Monday watching The Crown Season 3. It's a new season with a new cast. Out are Claire Foy, Matt Smith, Vanessa Kirby, and Matthew Good. For Season 3 and 4 are Olivia Colman, Tobias Menzies, Helena Bonham Carter, and Ben Daniels. And this season takes place between 1964 to 1976-77, I think, and which covers a good, fairly long time of Her Majesty's reign. And basically, for a good chunk of that period of time, Harold Wilson was the Prime Minister in between squeezed 4 years of Edward Heath. Now, of course, there's a little bit of in-joke early on in the series in which, oh yeah, the Queen has shown her portrait, and only a couple of months has passed. Granted, in a span of several months, can Claire Foy look like Olivia Colman? I don't really know. I don't know how aging exactly works myself. I think one of the best things about The Crown has always been Pierre Morgan's attempt to find really great actors and actresses. And I think the standout from season 1 and 2 was Vanessa Kirby as Princess Margaret. Trust me here, folks, the cast does not disappoint. When the Queen finally meets Harold Wilson, we begin like a lot of people probably would suspect, considering he spent a whole bunch of time over in Russia, he might be a Russian agent. And obviously, director of MI5 sort of dispels that notion. There is indeed a Russian agent. That happens to be Anthony Blunt, the surveyor of the Queen's portrait. And now, of course, this does conflate with a little bit of that. This all happens in '64, in which, in reality, one person who turned himself in to point the finger at Blunt happened a year earlier. Now, of course, Anthony Blunt and Prince Philip have a little bit of heart-to-heart talk, and trust me, it's not one of those nice ones. It's sort of like Prince Philip wants to rip the guy to shreds, but Anthony Blunt is like, you know, the Parfumo affair that you were sort of not, or maybe implicated in? Yeah, I had those pictures. Anthony Blunt sort of stays on and retires and say there, and you're thinking to yourself, why is this? Why is he denied leave the Queen's service earlier? Of course, what they don't tell you in this fact is, oh yeah, he was out in 1979 and died in '83. Now, of course, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes along here, including the Aberfan mining disaster in which 116 people were killed, and which 106 of those were children. And that was the biggest regret of her reign, I guess. The best casting here this year happens to be the Queen's 2 children, although we do meet Prince Edward and Prince Andrew. Sorry for Prince Andrew fans, I guess. Now, when it was announced that Josh O'Connor was to be playing Prince Charles, everyone was like, oh, he's too handsome to play Prince Charles, because we all know, when we look at sort of teenager Prince Charles, he's a dorky-looking kid. I guess this season tries to show you how lonely it is for Prince Charles, at least at one point by Will's teacher, to invite him to his home, have him return visit, and he does sort of read him the right act when he doesn't go to the library and doesn't understand Will's history. But of course, his mother doesn't give him sort of the satisfaction after reading his Welsh speech. And also Erin Doherty as Princess Anne. Now, curiously enough, they don't go into Princess Anne's wedding or Princess Anne attempted kidnapping here. Of course, maybe Pierre Morgan is like, I got 2 weddings to cover in the 1980s here, folks, so that'll be season 4. Obviously, Louis Mountbatten, Earl Mountbatten, who's played this time around by Charles Dance, another Game of Thrones alumni. He's sort of somewhat implicated in trying to overthrow the government by this one newspaper magnate who's like, our national security is in tatters, we're bankrupt. Mountbatten is sort of like, yeah, Rand, you need several things to launch a coup, but you need the Queen's authority, don't want to do that, and obviously Harold Wilson sort of gets slides of this, and he basically says, please talk to Mountbatten for me, who sadly he had to sack as Lord of the Admiralty. He also tries to mentor the Prince of Wales, not to the greatest extent, because Prince Charles is in love with Camilla Sand, aka Camilla Parker Bowles, aka Duchess of Cornwall. And obviously Mountbatten is like, yeah, Camilla Sand is good for a lay in the sack, not a wife. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, that's an outdated mentality. Also, Edward VIII dies in this season. He leaves behind evidence of showing about Prince Charles's infatuation with Camilla Sand, and how this might lead to some negative things or repercussions down the road. And while Simpson gives the advice of watch out for your family, and Charles responds, you know, they mean well, and when she replies, no they don't, and you're thinking to yourself, this interference by a family cannot be good. And basically, Camilla Sand, when she's eating a dinner deal with Charles in the palace, basically says, none of this is normal. You're right, none of this is indeed normal, because anyone who is growing up in that family, even the best of themselves, even their perception is going to be a little bit warped. Of the Queen's children, you know, Prince Charles has been married twice, you know. Princess Anne has been married twice. Prince Andrew has been divorced and sadly associated with Epstein. Edward is the only one that's remained married so far. At least the grandchildren seem relatively normal, Beatrice and Eugenie notwithstanding, and they seem like snuck-up snobs. Season 4 will deal with Diana's story, so we do deal greatly with the disintegrating marriage between Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong Jones. And now apparently Helena Bonham Carter recently stated that, oh yes, when I really started out my acting career, I had met Princess Margaret, and she gave her some backhanded advice. Princess Margaret also goes on holiday and has a lover 20 years her younger, and he's called Robert Llewellyn, and obviously, clearly when they get home, Tony is there, he leaves. Now what this series will show you, they were together till the mid-80s. Now obviously Anthony Armstrong Jones died in 2017. Won't have to wonder what he would think of this series. Apparently in the obituary, basically they said they always took his side over Margaret's, which quite frankly I would think would be sad. Obviously, Pierre Morgan deserves praise for getting the cast that he wants. The casting director for the show recently in an interview has always stated, of all the shows that I have been associated with, this is the one that's been most hardest to cast because some of these people are indeed alive, or their family is indeed alive still. And I guess in season 4, Gillian Anderson is going to be playing Margaret Thatcher. I would say to myself, the only weak link this season is Ben Daniels as Anthony Armstrong Jones, because Matthew Goode has a deliciously smarmy charm to him, or goofy charm, or whatever type of charm you want to call it. And Ben Daniels is just sort of there. Now, John Lithgow, who I always thought was sort of the one main fail of the series, does show up long enough to get us one scene in and then promptly die. So in the end, folks, The Crown Season 3 is a reasonably good time to watch. So folks, The Crown Season 3, have you seen this? What do you think? I'm at Michael Rich at Rich Reviews 2. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.